When you hear the term government regulations, what do you think of? I have an idea. I think for a lot of you, you probably instinctively think, oh, that's something that's holding business back. It's like handcuffs on business from making money, getting the economy booming and all that. And the reason that I think a not small number of you think that is because for literally decades, businesses have been paying politicians and media figures to put that out there, to create that narrative. But it's just not true. Government regulations are protections for you. That's all they are. They're one of the only times the government does something that a business doesn't like to protect you or your family or the environment. And I've got a perfect example of what that looks like right here. A story from last week that unfortunately a lot of people are ignoring that has to do with the safety of your food. What actually makes it into your food? So let's take a look at how the Trump administration wants to change regulations on pork manufacturers. And it has to do with the people who are looking at what's in that pork. So in traditional plants, as many as 7 federal inspectors work on a processing line, handling hog carcasses and checking for defects. And we're gonna get very specific about those defects in a bit. Under the new system, that number will be reduced to just 2 or 3 federal inspectors who will have more experience, but who will have limited hands-on interaction with the carcasses. So right off the bat, you have less than half the number of inspectors, and they're explicitly going to be spending less time actually looking at and touching the hog carcasses. Instead, in this new system, the plant's own employees will be checking and sorting the hog carcasses and letting the federal inspectors, called consumer safety inspectors, check their work from a distance. There is no required federal training for those employees. Now, I wanna talk to you very seriously and very honestly here. Let's be reasonable. If you were a massive pork manufacturing plant, and understand that something like 90% of all of the pork eaten in America is produced by just a couple of different corporations, what do you think about the old system versus the new system? Okay, it's gonna be pitched to you, this new system, as being more efficient and better. But if you were one of those corporations, which would you prefer? 7 inspectors getting into the line and looking at things and touching things? Or 2 or 3 people off over there and you have your own employees checking the line and there's no regulations on how you have to train those people? Which sounds better for the manufacturer? And which sounds better for the person who wants to eat some sausage at the end of the day? Under which system do you think the meat is gonna have less stuff in it that you don't actually want? I think the answer is pretty clear. And understand that they're also gonna be changing how fast this whole process works. So removal of federal speed limits to inspect hog meat is also part of the new rules. Currently, the speed limit is set at processing 1,106 hog carcasses per hour. That's the old limit. The new limit is gonna be faster. And I don't know about you, the way I grew up, I immediately think of I Love Lucy, except instead of jamming meat like a chocolate in their mouth, they're jamming hog hoofs. I don't know, but it's a lot. And it's amazing that they're able to do their job under the current speed limits. Imagine now less than half the people off in the back of the room having a smoke as the thing is going by even faster than before. And so, what are the actual stakes here? What could get into that meat that you might not want? Well, it's pretty bad. Potential defects include feces, hopefully pig, I imagine, sex organs, toenails, bladders, and unwanted hair. And as Brett Ehrlich pointed out, what hair do you want in your pork? I don't know. They don't get into details there. So here's the thing. There are currently regulations that I would argue have always been very lenient. I mean, you saw the old speed limit. You saw what they were getting away with at these pork manufacturing plants. Back in the day, there used to be videos of how they'd treat the hogs at these plants, and they were devastating. So devastating that in a number of states, they made it illegal to film what is going on there. That was the old system. This new system, which they guarantee you is gonna be better for business, but also better for the consumer, takes the inspectors off the line, cuts them in half, and makes the corporations responsible for training their own employees with no regulations on what that training actually has to entail. And so this is just one set of regulation changes, and you can see how slanted toward corporations it is. And I want you to care more about what's in your pork and what's in your food, but more importantly, I want you to be ready the next time you see a news report where a politician is saying that over-regulation is what's wrong with the American economy, and that's what we need to fight. Just remember, regulations are protections. They're protections for you. Minor infringements on the profit-seeking abilities of these corporations to make sure that you're not eating pig poop when you have your breakfast sausage. It's simple as that. Thanks for watching the Damage Report. What if you could take control of your internet experience for a cup of coffee a month? Well, if you head to nordvpn.com/TYT, you'll be able to connect up to 6 devices to NordVPN's military-grade encryption for $349 a month. If you go now, they'll even throw in 4 free months and NordPass, the new password manager app. Go now.